Hey, great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, totally.
It's been a
It's cool if I
minute.
drink coffee during this, right?
Yeah, it's totally.
Okay, great.
You can cuss, you can say anything you want. It's
Oh,
pretty
wow,
much,
amazing.
yeah, all the things. Um,
Incredible.
yeah, so it's been a minute. When was the last time you were on? I think it was like maybe 3 years ago. You were in town,
Was it 3 years ago?
I think.
Yeah, I
I
was
think
trying
so.
to I was trying to remember when I was on last, and I was like, I can't. I like don't even remember where I was or what I was doing or what was happening.
I think at the time you were still doing Between Two Bushes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Are you still doing that?
That's really funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know that it's called Between Two Bushes anymore, but my partner, Lacey Jecka, we're still partners and we
Hmm.
still write together, and we
Okay.
were performing together still prior to COVID, obviously, but we
Yeah.
haven't really performed together since. We did do something over COVID that we're not allowed to like talk about yet, but that will come out sometime next year.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's
Mhm.
always neat when there's projects that that are on the DL and
Yeah,
but I mean, it seems like you've been pretty busy regardless, right? How have you been using? I mean, this last
I
year, I
mean,
guess at this point.
Instagram is such a wonderful illusion. Um,
Oh,
but
you're not busy? Okay, gotcha.
no, I'm truly, I mean, I don't know. I've been trying to stay busy.
Hmm.
Me and my boyfriend went upstate. He has a house upstate. So we went upstate like
Hmm.
right in the middle of March.
Hmm.
And then we were pretty much there until November.
Hmm.
And then he got a job on, he got a job on a show that's shooting here in the city. So we came back to Brooklyn,
Oh, nice.
and but most of everything I've been doing is I've either A, not been working, or
Hmm.
B, developing my own stuff, or like doing small producing things that are like that could be done remotely.
Okay.
So that was kind of all I was doing during the
Okay.
year. So yeah.
So it's just been remote stuff. You really haven't been going out. Is shooting, I mean, shooting commenced in, I think I know people that
Yeah,
are in the industry out there and they seem to be on sets,
definitely.
right?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, shooting has definitely started again. It's just very, very pared down.
Mm,
And it's just like the COVID regulations of it all is really a kind of a nightmare
hmm.
of keeping people safe and stuff like that. I mean, the unions and all of like the production companies and studios are trying to do everything they can to keep everybody safe, but a lot of it is
Mm,
just like people haven't been working, so people need to work. And
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, to what end, I don't know. But it's been really, really, I don't know, it is kind of crazy because the amount of precautions that you have to take, it makes it really hard
Hmm.
to, when you're shooting something or shooting a movie or a TV show, it's like you are building like a family, and you guys are all really close and you're stuck together in tiny rooms and for months at a time. And it's very, I haven't done it yet, but I can imagine that it would be very difficult to go on set and to have,
Yeah.
the mask and the shield and the
Hmm.
gloves, and you can't be too close to anyone. And it's like, it's almost
Yeah.
physically impossible to do your job the
Hmm.
same way and well, like with everything that you have to do. But obviously it's necessary and people need to stay safe. And my boyfriend's on a show now and he gets tested 3 times a week, if not more.
That's kind of wild. Well, that's great. I mean, they have the money to
Yeah.
be able to test people and it's those kind of quick result tests. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of changed over the year. Like, so it started off being like the PCR tests, and then you'd have to
Hmm.
wait. And then it was the rapid tests. And then, so as the years gone on, the tests have become more accurate and advanced. And they've been able to understand false positives and all these
Hmm.
things. But
Hmm.
a lot of shows, did like bubbles where they would like take the whole crew and they'd put them in a hotel and they wouldn't talk or see anybody, see anyone
Yeah.
or touch anyone for, 3 months, which is fine for a few months, but it's not sustainable.
No, I mean, most productions, at least, they tend to be shorter anyways, right? A few months shoot, which is, I think,
Yeah,
it's doable. No?
doable, but I think it's also just not like over a long-term period of time to go from job to job. It's also because it's like if you think of like people who are in development are, it's it's you have more of like the leisure of like going home
Mm,
to your families, and it's like the
mhm,
hours aren't as crazy and stuff. But when you're on set, hours are 12, 13, 14 hours. So,
right.
and 16 if you're including travel. So it's like
It's
there's
more of
no
a, like a
way.
boot camp situation, and like
Yeah.
it's rigorous. Yeah, which is, I
Yeah.
mean, it gets me thinking about some from my friend Gabe, who's from Albuquerque and lives out there and works in the film industry. He likes to refer to this group of people as film workers, in the sense that just it's kind of you have to constantly hustle to try to network and find a next gig, right?
Yeah, it's always
So
the next thing.
right, so because yeah, they only last a few months, but you can't just work for 3 months out of the year and expect to survive that way, especially in a
No.
city like New York City. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it makes it more difficult, right, to find work in that sense because you're having to move
Yeah.
around.
I mean, once you find like your tribe of people,
Mm,
like it's
hmm.
kind of, and your kind of like circle of people who like you want to work with them or do these things, it's like you're kind of in that zone, I
Yeah.
would say. But so I'm like lucky because I've met the
Mm,
people that I really enjoy working with. I mean, I want to continue to meet people and work with other people and
yeah.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm lucky in that the show that I predominantly work on
Hmm.
uh has sustained me for quite a while. But it's interesting because it's just I feel like at least over quarantine I definitely took away a sense of just sort of like reevaluating, like, oh, maybe I don't want to go from job to job to job to job to job. Maybe I want to like
Mm.
take a job, take a few months off, that kind of thing.
Oh, so like
Just
more,
life.
instead of like a consistent like full-time situation, take some
Yeah.
time off between is what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was me and my boyfriend and I would always joke that we were in like early retirement because we just like cooked a lot, and I actually learned to rock climb, and we like did a bunch of climbing, and we went on bike rides, and it was just, I mean,
Hmm.
it was great.
It sounds, I mean, it's
I mean,
awesome. Rock climbing for one is
yeah,
great. Cycling is also great. If
yeah,
that's what it takes to be retired, then I'm in, right?
yeah, same. I mean, I
Um,
definitely miss, like
uh-huh.
working to a certain extent, but I'm also kind of grateful for the time and the time to like reevaluate how I want to go forward.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, the pandemic has allowed us a little bit of that kind of breather as well to really kind of
Yeah.
assess what's important and how we want to work, and the ability to work remotely and to take the jobs we want and
Yeah.
be fulfilled in those things, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe that the pandemic helped with that, or were you thinking this beforehand?
I mean, I think that I mean, I've always been a person who was just like driven a lot by like
Mm,
the anxiety of
yeah.
what's the next thing and how can I get to this and this and this
Hmm.
and this. And I think
Hmm.
that when it was like a moment, it's such a competitive city, and when it was a moment where just like everyone was literally forced to stop, it was almost like everyone being put on the same playing field all of a sudden. It
Yeah.
was like nobody's trying harder than you, no one's doing more than you, until Taylor Swift came out with like 4 albums or something. But
Like, you seriously, overachiever.
no,
Come on.
I'm joking, but it was like this a sigh of relief in a way where it was just like, oh, it's just,
Hmm.
I love what I
Hmm.
do, but it's not everything.
Yeah, yeah. And how much of it is what you do because you work in an industry that I personally love, right? And I consider it part of it a
Yeah.
hobby, but also it is a line of work and it is a career path. How much of what you do on a month to month basis, I guess, in this industry is for you, and how much of it is for survival, would you say?
Uh, I guess it's kind of hard to quantify.
Mm,
I've definitely done jobs before that I was like, I'm just doing this to pay the bills.
okay. Yeah.
Like,
PA work, sure.
well, even like some PA work is like satisfying and stuff, but like
Hmm.
I mean, I haven't PA'd in a really long time, but that was, um, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely jobs that I've taken before where I was like, I don't have
Hmm.
as much invested in this creatively as I would.
Hmm.
Like the main show that I work on is Search Party, which I'm one of the producers on, and I'm so proud of that show, and I love that
Nice.
show, and I think it's just so amazing, and I feel really lucky to be a part of it. Um, and so that
Hmm.
that to me is not necessarily survival.
Yeah,
That's like I'm
absolutely.
I'm fulfilled by that quite a bit. So I wouldn't call that a survival job, which
Sure.
I'm very lucky because it does help me survive.
Right, right, because you're enjoying what you do on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis, right? And
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
so a couple of things that I do want to touch on, and they're kind of in different directions, but really quickly before we move on from Search Party, if people want to watch it, where do they stream this? I'm assuming it's streamable, right?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Hmm.
And I think that you can just get HBO Max on like you can just download it and do like a free trial.
Hmm.
And
It's
which
well,
for like
if
a
you have
month,
HBO Go and it translates to
yeah,
that and
I
all
think
that,
it
yeah.
translates. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so my cat, hello. Sorry, she's scratching my couch. Um, and so my she's my workmate. Um,
Coworkers these days.
she coworkers, you get it.
Hmm.
Um, but she but yeah, it's on HBO Max. And seasons 1 through 4 are streaming right now.
Were you with the production from the beginning?
Mm, I've been on it since season 2.
Okay, okay.
So
Which
2016,
okay.
2015, 2016.
That's awesome. I mean, congrats on that. That's a big deal.
Thank you.
It's not
Yeah.
nothing, right? It's the production of that level. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like to work for HBO. And I don't know how long this has been kind of a working in this industry has been kind of on your radar or a dream of yours in any way. But I'm
Mhm.
sure it's a big kind of check off the list, right? Um,
Yeah, I think
mhm.
so. I mean, I also think Search Party started on TBS,
Mhm.
which and when it was on TBS, and this is no dig to TBS, we love them, but it was very hard to find. It was like when people were like asking where they could find it, it was like, I think you can go here. It was like kind of
Yeah,
hard, so it really wasn't on people's radars
they're not
when
really.
really up
It's
until
mhm.
recently.
Yeah, they're not a stream friendly um,
No. Well,
platform.
and they were
Mm.
absorbed by Warner Media, and Warner Media is now HBO Max. So it's and also it's like
Uh,
HBO and HBO Max are kind of like two separate entities.
I know all
Um
these acquisitions and mergers that are happening,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So that's why
truly.
I get to watch the new Denzel movie on HBO Max.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's with Jared Leto, right?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah, I want to
so
see that.
yeah, so that all makes sense now. Thank you for clarifying a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain stocks to us too?
I, oh my, I actually just listened to it. What was it? Do you listen to the Daily?
Yeah, I listen to the daily.
Yeah, I listened to the date because I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I had to have
Hmm.
my boyfriend explain it to me and then listen to the Daily, and I still don't get it.
I like that, you know, my girlfriend, she's like, I'll let you know when I need to know what's happening. And finally, like right before bed, she's like, while I'm getting ready, can you just like,
Yeah,
just
just give
tell
me the
me,
cliff
just give
notes.
me the cliff notes as to
Yeah.
what's happening and what's important. And of course,
Mhm.
like any good boyfriend, I got super excited and I was like, yeah, stocks, this, trade, you know.
No, no.
So it
So
was a
funny.
great week for guys who like explaining things. Um, so it, I mean, I want to go back to kind of like your progression because you started with season 2 on the show.
Mhm.
What and again, Instagram is a great way to, or a weird way to kind of keep in touch with people without really keeping in touch with them. Obviously, I see your life on there,
Yeah.
and it happens. I've known you since I think junior high at this
Yeah.
point, right? So it's been a long time, but we really haven't talked consistently. So I see
Yeah.
the progression. Can you let us know, like, since the last time you were on, maybe a few years ago, you were doing that, you know, more projects with your friend and with your partner and all of this stuff. How
Mhm.
were you? And you said you haven't done PA work in a while. How have you kind of evolved since then? Like, how have you moved up in the ladder or in the chain of kind of work?
I mean, like with respect to PAs, I would be a terrible PA.
Oh yeah.
I I mean, it's such a different, I mean, PAs on film sets and stuff like that. Generally, if you're like becoming a PA, it's because you're kind of like being a PA and checking out the other departments to see like what you'd be interested in, or you're trying to
Hmm.
build your days for your book to join the DGA to become an AD.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so, which wasn't really the path that I wanted to go down. So I started I mean, I don't know. I like it's hard because it's like I hesitate to I think that one of like the main things that I always think like when people ask me, like younger people ask me for advice on like how to like
Mm-hmm.
pursue a career like this or things like that. I think it's like the big thing for me is that there's just like no right way to do it, which is
Mm.
like kind of like like debilitating and freeing at the same time
Sure.
because I think that it means that there's no right way, there's no like path necessarily. I think that any
Mm.
way you go about it is the right way. I didn't go to college. I like went to I had a few years
Mm-hmm.
of university and then I dropped out and moved to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to and I think I just like randomly started. I like went to a show at the Cherry Lane Theater in the West Village, and it was Colin Quinn. And
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of just asked the producer if I could help. And I wound up, oh no, or I like knew him through like my acting teacher or like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
asked him if I could help, and I wound up just kind of like interning on that show, that off Broadway show.
Sure.
And I went from like interning to co-producing that show to like co-producing a bunch of different off Broadway
Mm.
shows for like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, Mike Birbiglia, Neil Brennan, Chris Gethard, just like all these like huge comedians, and which was like really fun and like such an education and like stand up and storytelling and producing and all those things. And then after that, this is like the major Cliff Notes version, but
Yeah, for
after that,
sure.
I wound up doing, I wound up being a creative consultant on a pilot that we shot for Colin with Jax Media.
Mm. Okay.
And after that, Jax, I got an interview to be the associate producer on Search Party season 2
Okay.
with Tony Hernandez, who's the owner of Jax Media, and I wound up becoming the associate producer on season 2. And then I just kind of kept with that show, and
Mm-hmm.
like obviously the shows only go for like 4 months at a time or something, so in
Yeah.
between I would work on different things. But Search Party has been my main thing for the past
Okay.
like 5 or 6 years.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty smooth progression. I mean, it comes down to a lot of just like networking, right? And taking the opportunities
Yeah,
and asking for like, okay, I want to do this, but also like, I mean, not just anybody can end up where you are, right? It's not just luck. You're talented,
no,
right? You
thank
know
you.
what you're doing. Can you just kind of give us a high overview of what a producer does?
I mean, I think that it's different for there's like I wish that there was like some sort of like clear cut like
Mm-hmm.
log line as to what a producer does. I think it's very different on each show, and
Mm-hmm.
also each production company. I think that there's like two different kinds of producers. There's like line producers, which handle like budget and logistics and scheduling,
Mm-hmm.
and generally those guys either like stay line producers, they become UPMs, which is unit production managers, which is a
Mm.
DGA position, and they are kind of like controlling the entire unit. And then there's
Mhm.
creative producers, which is what I am. And so I would say that in general, I'm like a liaison between network, creative, legal, ad sales, and production. So
Okay.
I'm overseeing like all of the I'm like helping the showrunners and the directors prep for each episode.
Okay.
And I'm trying to see like overarching issues. I talk to the production heads a lot, like the production designers and the costume designers, prop masters. And
Mhm.
on set I'm typically in Village with the director and the showrunner and just making sure that everything is running smoothly while prepping for the next day or the next thing.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of like the nutshell version of what I do. Um, but yeah, but I kind of went from like associate producer to producer, and
Mhm.
eventually I ideally I want to transition into directing and show running.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you would like to direct.
Yeah, definitely. I direct all of my own like little things. I'm directing a short that I wrote with my partner Lacey Jecka in April,
Mhm.
and I have like development things that I'm working on. So ideally, but yeah, that's like the next step for me for sure is directing.
Okay. So you're proactively kind of doing your own thing and making
Yeah.
sure that you're doing your own projects. I mean, That's pretty
Yeah, I
standard,
think
right? Yeah.
yeah, I think it's very standard. I think it's like really important that it's like
Hmm.
when you're like trying to get directing jobs on like on
Mm.
other things that you have like a point of view or you have like something to say or like a clear it's not like coming from nowhere. You're not, you know, I think that it's like, oh no, this is the way I see things or like I don't know,
Mm.
some sort of like creative point of view.
Okay.
I think
So
it also helps. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to. I guess I'm just trying to grasp what your statement there is, that when you're asked what specifically, it's important that you respond with a point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot more to directing in general than just like coming on set and telling people what to do. I think that one thing that's like really benefited me with my position now is that as like that will benefit me later as being a director is that I understand everyone's jobs. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it's helpful to come on and know like I know how things are supposed to run. I know I've seen it done poorly and I've seen it done really well and I know the benefits and the pros and cons of all of that.
Okay.
But I think on top of all of that, I think it's really important to have a vision and a point of view and but also being able to go in there on the day with a very clear idea of what you want, but
Mm-hmm.
also being flexible and open to other ideas. And
Okay.
because it's obviously like film is a collaborative process.
I mean, there's so many people. You just described
Mhm.
I don't know how many people, and that's just like the producers, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, it takes a village to really create a whole production. It doesn't
Yeah.
just take one person. It's not just the director and his vision and
No, definitely not.
and first and second camera. It's literally a ton of people trying to make sure that it succeeds and gets off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And it's kind of wild. It's which is really neat. It's really neat to see that you're um I mean, in my opinion, succeeding in this, right?
Thank you so much.
Because I don't know what your definition of success is at this point with all of this. Is there an end
Oh, I
goal?
don't know.
End goal's directing, right? Obviously, but
Yeah, I'd love to direct. I think yeah, I mean end goal is like lofty, I guess, but I have like things I'd like to do. I would like to direct like feature narrative stuff
mm-hmm.
eventually. Um but yeah, I think that's what I'd like to do is direct like features and things like
Yeah.
that eventually. But TV is also fun. I mean, I love TV. I'm in TV now and I really love the show I work on.
Mm-hmm.
Um but yeah, and just sort of continue down this path that would be
Are you writing anything? I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, I have a feature that I'm developing now.
Right.
I have features that I'm developing on my own. I have a feature I'm developing with my partner, and
Gotcha.
then me and my partner have a pilot and a show we've developed, and then we also have our like stand up and things that we do every once in a while. But obviously, with COVID, that's not really something that we like focus on.
Yeah. I mean, as far as your writing goes and the content that you want to direct, I mean, most of the time you have to write your own stuff to be able to direct it. But is this what sort of stuff are you putting out there? I mean, what's your focus? What's your, I guess, your niche?
I don't know. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I do. My partner and I do a lot of like dark comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So we like an interpersonal. I guess interpersonal dark comedy is kind of the stuff that we like to do. We like to focus on things. Yeah, I'd say that's probably what we do. Is
Okay.
like making fun of white feminism, things like that.
Okay, cool. Right on. I mean, that's always a neat perspective to have, right?
Yeah.
And I think I think it's amazing. There was recently I saw something before we started recording. I mentioned it
Uh
that
huh.
you're also acting, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was this that I saw? You were dressed as a goth.
Oh, I mean, truly, it was probably just for fun. But I mean,
Gotcha.
I do act. But that was so Sarah Violet Bliss and Charles Rogers are the creators of Search Party,
Hmm.
and they were. I mean, I did this like goth waitress role. It was truly just like a waitress role, like whatever
Hmm.
they're supposed to like come in and take their order. But me and the costume designer and SB and Charles like thought it would be fun. Our brilliant costume designer Matthew Simonelli, he's amazing. He
Hmm.
does all those like incredible costumes for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, but but we were just like, oh, it would be fun to like make her goth, like, and so I like,
just to do it. Okay.
yeah, no, truly just for shits and giggles. And I like had, so I got like those like long, pointy, like weird goth nails. And those were real, like acrylic,
Uh-huh.
full ass
Yeah.
acrylic nails, which is fun. And then they would like dye my hair purple every morning
So
with
wait.
like the spray in purple, like
Okay.
hairspray.
So was it?
It was disgusting.
Yeah, I'm sure to wash it out every night. It must have been so
It took
much
me
fun.
weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
It
gross.
was the. I mean, that's not a recurring role, is it?
No,
Oh,
it shot over a period of 2 days.
okay, gotcha.
Um, yeah, with that location that we were at was this like abandoned,
Mm,
not abandoned, that's the wrong word. It was just like a defunct like motel and diner. It was
gotcha.
actually interesting. Our production designer is this guy, Alan Lampert, him
Uh-huh.
and our art director, Kara Albert. Alan Lampert and Kara Alpert. Wow, it's hard to say together. They're amazing, but they kind of like repainted and redid that entire like diner. It was like
Huh.
they made it look like it was a working diner, which I thought was so great.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw some brief shots, right? I'll have to check out the show.
Yeah.
And wait, is this episode that you were in already airing?
Yes, it aired.
It aired already. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
I'll make sure I'll watch the whole thing. Just
Yeah.
just to
Watch
be a
the whole
solid
thing.
just to be a solid homie.
There you go.
And recommend that. But um okay, but yeah, so I'll check that out. But I think from the stills that I saw you posting, and I mean, I wouldn't have even been able to tell, right?
Yeah.
They do some
Yeah.
amazing
It
work.
looks
I mean,
good.
these people do
They
some
really
amazing
do.
work,
Yeah.
right? So what's so as far as everything goes, I mean, what are your plans moving forward besides this? I mean, you have some projects that you can't talk about. You have these things that you're writing. Um, what else is there anything else in the pipeline? Are you hoping to get back into comedy? Is there a main focus, or are you just trying to spread yourself as wide as possible to get as
Just
much
spread
done and
myself as thin
experience
as
as
possible.
soon as possible? Yeah.
Just sort of, yeah. No, I have, right now I'm mostly working on my feature that I'm developing during the day.
Gotcha.
And then, keeping, our cat from destroying the couches. And
Yeah.
working out in my living room, shit like that.
I mean, I have a
I,
treadmill behind me, and then I
I
have
know.
like some weight sets. So I mean,
Yeah,
we're
I
all
mean,
in
I don't
this.
leave. I'm so paranoid about COVID. I don't go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, so I have the short that I'm shooting in
Mm-hmm.
April, and then I have another like smaller short that I'm shooting probably in March.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both written though, so those are
They're
all set
done.
to go.
Okay.
And then I just started production on a show that'll shoot this summer.
Gotcha.
Um, and then I have, yeah, but I mean, kind of like those four things are pretty much all I'm focusing on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Live comedy, I don't know when. I just don't know when it'll be super feasible again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just kind of not, I'm not focusing on that right now.
Would you consider yourself at this point like a comedian then?
No,
Okay.
no, I think calling myself a comedian is an insult to stand-ups everywhere. I think that like
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that I think that the kind of stand up that me and my partner do is more like long form. Like it's like a scene. It's not,
You're a
I'm
comedic actor. Okay.
yeah, I guess I'm a comedic actor. I think
Okay.
that there's a lot of or you know, there's so many super talented stand-ups
Mm-hmm.
and stuff in New York, obviously, and that are just so funny. And it's what they do is stand up. I don't think what I do is stand up.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's it's something. And I'm just kidding.
Hmm.
So
It's
where can
something.
where can people can find your stuff? How is there any how can they support you? I mean, how besides following you on Instagram, I mean, like in
Follow me on
we can
Instagram.
make you an influencer. What's the deal?
Oh
How
wow.
are
No,
you
I'm
an
like
influencer?
truly I was like thinking about deleting my Instagram recently. I was like, I can't anymore.
Oh, really?
I've
You're just
decided
over
it's
it?
destroying society. No, I honestly just, I mean, I think your like typical amount of just, uh, yeah, I just think that it's like bad for your brain.
Social media is it's pretty rough. Are
It's
you
pretty
on TikTok
toxic.
at all?
Fuck no. I I can't. I'm
Why?
like
Why? Okay.
I'm proud to say that I've never had a Snapchat or a TikTok.
Snapchat overrated. I would say TikTok. They got me early. I think
Oh, they got
it
you
was the
early.
pandemic, yeah, and I have
Yeah,
kids, so
yeah. I
they
can't.
like it and like all this stuff. And honestly, it makes me feel old because all these Gen Zers are just
Yeah.
saying words and they say I can't say certain things anymore. You can't say adulting anymore, I guess, because that's old.
Really? Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, I just don't. I don't care. I can't do it. I don't have the energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, but you have a website, right, where you post stuff or like
Oh, I do have a
films and
website.
stuff like that. Do you still use
I
that?
need to like kinda. I guess I need to update it.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
guys, if you watch Search Party if you want to see Kristen,
yeah. Go watch Search
just do
Party.
that, and then like keep an eye out for all her stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. Search Party for sure, and all my updates will just go up on my Instagram.
Are you on IMDb at all?
Yeah,
So just just set an
yeah.
alert,
There you
follow her
go.
on
Set an
IMDb,
alert on IMDb.
and then see what's up next, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and that's all people have to do.
Yeah,
Are you planning on coming back home anytime soon? I mean, is it still? I mean, this isn't really
I
home. This is where you're from, I guess. But what's home?
yeah. I mean, for sure, home is New York now.
Yeah.
I've been here for 10 years,
Would you say
so
you're a New
I
Yorker at this point?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, I love it here. I don't think I'm going anywhere anytime soon.
Hmm.
But I think yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel comfortable traveling until I'm vaccinated.
Gotcha.
So I'm just gonna kind of chill here. I think my parents get their second round vaccine
Oh, no way.
next
That's
week, which
awesome.
I'm so
That's great.
excited about. Yeah, so that's great. I'm excited about that.
Hmm.
And but that's it. Yeah, no, I bet you I'll go back for like Thanksgiving or Christmas next year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I
Something
think
like that.
we'll probably have the vaccination by then. I think I might got an email
Oh,
the other day saying that I might get it
oh,
soon. So,
you're frozen and you're moving
uh,
in slow motion.
well, that's actually just me being weird. Can you still see me?
Okay.
Technical difficulties, but we're back. And I think okay, yeah, vaccinations are I mean this whole the world, I mean, we can talk about that, but it's
I
so
know.
overwhelming at this point. I'm just kind of over the news and
Yeah,
but at the same time I really kind of like working from home.
I know. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. So these meetings could have been an email. Uh,
They really
they
could
really
have.
could have.
They
Yeah,
really
I
could have.
think I'm definitely going to make an effort to spend less time at the office. And
Be
I mean, it's
retired.
impossible once you're in. Yeah, I'm retired. Once I'm in production, it's physically impossible to not be in an office just because you just have to talk to people so consistently. But generally, when I'm in post or in
Hmm.
pre-production, I can pretty easily do most of my work from home. So
Okay.
I'll probably try to stick to that for the most part.
Are you registered for like vaccination soon? What's New York like right
I
now
don't
with
think
with all that?
New York is just like over 65 and essential workers.
Okay. Okay.
So I think that I have a while
Mm.
until my category is tapped.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you still have a minute. Well, I mean, hopefully you get it soon. Hopefully, I mean, not the vaccine, not COVID. And I mean, I hear it's pretty wild, and take care of yourself. Honestly,
Yeah, you too.
yeah, this is kind of crazy. But I guess we'll sign off now. But I'll hit pause and we can debrief really quickly, guys. If you're listening, thank you so much for watching or listening. It's been great. Take care of
Thank
yourself,
you.
and we'll see you later. Bye, guys.